Hey everybody, Jeremy Reid here. A couple weeks ago I put out a video blog about breaking the connection between stress and food, and I think I want to kind of expand on that a little bit more. I could talk for hours about that topic, but there's a few other things I want to mention, and regardless of whether you've listened to that or watched that video blog or not, this one will still be informative for you. First I want to tell you a funny story. So let's see. Weekend before last, it was on a Friday. I took about half the day off. Me and my wife went and just kind of did some running around. It was my birthday earlier that week, so we, waited till Friday. Took a couple hours off, and we ended up going to a pet store, and we went to an Indian casino. But anyway, so we're at this fish store. And I love fish, by the way. He used to have tons of saltwater tanks, big ones, and had a shark. It was awesome. So I still like to go to I like to go to fish stores and kind of look around and just pretend that I'm still in that game. But we went to this fish store in Phoenix, and we go out back, and they had all these like in-ground ponds set up side by side, and they were selling koi and all sorts of stuff, turtles. But right there was a big pen, and there was this huge pig. There was this huge pig there. So the first time I walked by it, the pig was inside his little man cave or whatever, and I didn't see him. And like 2 seconds later, I walked by. There's this giant pig right there. So I was kind of like, whoa, where'd you come from? So I'm taking some photos with the pig. I turn around, I'm like posing, photos with the pig. And behind me, in this little voice, I hear, "Hey, F off." And I'm like, except he used the real F word, and trying to keep it family friendly. So I'm like, what? I turn around, and this tiny voice, like it sounded like Iago from Aladdin. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And so I start to walk closer, and it's this parrot. So this parrot is sitting in this cage right by us, and I kind of look at him like, what? And he says it again, "Hey, F off." And so I'm cracking up by this point, and I get closer to the cage, and there's people outside, so I'm kind of angrily whispering to the bird. I'm like, "Hey, screw you, bird." and so anyway, that was right about when I busted out my camera and started recording him saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And so I posted that on my Instagram if you want to check it out. That's at Jeremy Reid Fitness on Instagram. Pretty funny. I've never heard a bird talk that clearly and with cuss words as well. So that was a kick. I got a funny time out of that. Anyway, breaking the connection between stress and food can be a major one. This is something that literally plagues millions of people. I've worked with people all over the world, and I can tell you this is common no matter where you live, no matter what your religion, race, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. Stress and food is a worldwide thing. This connection we have between the emotions we're experiencing and feeding those emotions literally with food is very real, and it is common, very, very common. So if this is you, which chances are it is, don't feel like you're something special. Don't feel like you have this major problem that no one else has, because this is something that's very real. Now, with that said, it is not a very healthy thing for us to do, especially if we have aggressive health and fitness goals. Stress is a major thing in all of our lives. You literally, I don't think you can live without experiencing stress, of some sort. Whether it's children, whether it's jobs, whether it's spouses, you name it. Stress is coming at us at all times in our lives, really. And we have the opportunity to allow it to really get us down, or for us to kind of consciously work through it in a positive way. Excuse me. I would encourage you to look at the stressful situations in your life for what they are, but not more than they are, not worse than they are. A lot of times we tend to allow these little stresses in our life to build up to the point where they feel overbearing. They feel like too much weight to bear, and they cause us to get distracted or get sidelined from our goals. This is typically where you end up skipping the gym and eating nachos for dinner. or just going out and just destroying yourself on a, pizza binge or whatever. And it's a lot of times not because of one major stress in your life. It's because of all these other stresses that are adding up. And when you're not dealing with them on this individual basis, they become too much to bear. It seems like just too much is going on, too much to handle, right? It might be some little stresses with your in-laws. It might be some little stresses with your children, some little stresses at work. And it's been a long week, and all of a sudden, this compounds into this mood that you're in, where you're not really even thinking about the individual stresses. You're just in this funk. You're just in this mood that is all controlling and all consuming, allowing you to just give in, collapse, and go away from your goals. So I would challenge you to look at these individual stresses for what they are, but not worse than they are. Don't make this out to be worse than it is, because if you do that, you are going to fail, without a doubt. But if you look at them for what they are, conquer each and every one of them, even if the stress isn't gone. I mean, our children can be stressful. The things they do, the trouble they get in, it can be stressful, but we can't avoid our children. We can't just walk away. So we need to deal with these little stresses one by one and find a game plan for handling with them. Excuse me. Allergies are acting up. And find a game plan for handling them and then moving on. Once you've thought about it, analyzed it, and just gotten over it, it's easier to move on to the next one. What's your stresses at work? What's your stresses at home? What's your, and these things are not going to be relieved overnight. They may take some planning and some therapy even, but being able to tackle each and every one of them individually for the stress that they are allows you to not look at this bigger picture of stress as something worse than it is. I was having a very similar conversation today with a client of mine, fantastic woman, very dedicated, very hardworking, but also very stressed out. Children, spouse, job, you name it. She's mentioning all of these little stresses in her life that are compounded into this, feeling like I just can't take it. And I reminded her, I said the exact same words to her this morning. Look at this situation, look at each of these individual situations for exactly what it is, but not worse than it is. Because when you start to put it all together, it can be overbearing. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not going to be able to sit here and give you an hour presentation on how to deal with communication with your spouse or deal with work pressures with your boss. That's not what I do. But I can tell you that dealing with these things individually is going to be much more successful than trying to deal with the stress in general in your life when you don't even know what you're dealing with. It's just this big ball of mess. So try to identify each and every single one of these and deal with it for what it is and move on. I guarantee if you do that, you're going to be able to go into your day, your afternoon, whatever it is, with a little clearer head and be able to plan out your day and go, okay, work sucks, home sucks, friends, whatever, all of the stresses in your life. But you know what? I got my food prepped. I'm going to hit the gym. And a lot of times you'll find getting that frustration out in the way of physical activity is all the therapy you need. So anyway, take it to heart. Think about it. If it applies to you, great. If not, whatever. Take it for what it is. Make sure to hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Jeremy Reid Fitness. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit me up on Instagram @Jeremy Reid Fitness. Follow me in every way you can. I love to hear from you. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.